Right, good morning, ladies and gents. I presume you can hear at the back. If you can wave. Yes, everyone's waving, great. It's fantastic to be back here. We've been here every year since the beginning of this great show, and we're very pleased yet again to be putting forward the user point of view. I think what we've learned, we've been on a journey the last 5 years as we've been involved in the Strategic Road Network as well as Highways England. And I think what we've learned and what I would boil down into sort of 3 key points, slightly echoing what Steve has said. All of our research, when you boil it down to its essence, road users, and that includes truck drivers, people trying to cross the strategic road network as well or go alongside it, they want 3 things. Safety, and they want to feel safe as well. It's not just about statistics. People want the perception of safety. People want reliable journeys. We all set our timescales for car journeys in our heads, or Google does it for us. And thirdly, people want smooth journeys. They want good quality information. If there's disruption, they want to be helped to get round it or to know what's happening. They want decent places to stop. Facilities are very, very important, a key part of safety. A decent place to stop, a cup of coffee, chance to go to the loo is very, very important. And I think if I was summarizing that and putting it on the back of Jim O'Sullivan's business card, that's what I would say. Safe, reliable, smooth. That's what people are looking for from the strategic road network. Now, easy to say that, slightly more difficult perhaps to deliver it in the environment that's actually out there with the users turning up in the vehicles that they turn up in. But a bit about us. We're the independent statutory consumer watchdog for various parts of Britain's transport network and doing all sorts of work around other areas as well. We've built the organisation around 3 very key principles. We're a consumer organisation. We don't believe in telling people how to travel. We're just trying to improve the quality of people's transport experiences. We base our work on evidence. I mean, my journeys are fascinating. I can tell you all about them later. But what we try and do is bring a strong, representative sample of users' voices to the table at these big debates. And the representativeness is absolutely crucial. Truck drivers do a lot of kilometres on the strategic road network. Their voice really matters. They're keeping the country going, by the way, as well. Everything arrives by truck. The logistics sector is very, very important. And making sure that that voice is reflected clearly, and also the voices of the people who own and operate those trucks is very, very important. And then getting the right number of commuters, getting the right number of leisure users, all of our survey work is based around trying to get those representative blocks of people. And finally, we aim to be useful. We have no powers. We don't particularly want any powers. Our aim is to make a difference and to influence those who are making the big decisions about roads to try and make them in a more road user-focused way. And I think what's fantastic about the last few years is what we've been able to build up across all these years is a fantastic picture of what transport users are looking for. It's probably the best picture that exists in the world of the consumer experience of using major roads. And actually, it's not just strategic roads, of course, it's the major road network that is coming, and a lot of what we're talking about was also totally applicable to local roads as well. We started early on by just asking people quite generally in 2015, what's your experience of using the road network? How does it feel like? You instantly get a very strong sense that, of course, road users are not a homogenous bunch. They're a very different bunch of people with very different needs, very different attitudes, very different experiences, different vehicles. Some people come back and say, God, motorways, they feel, I don't like driving on them. They feel really unsafe. And you think, wow, where does that come from? They're the safest bit of road. You're safer there than anywhere else, but it doesn't feel it. So you can't just treat road users as a homogenous bunch. And in our early work, some of the themes that started coming out, which have echoed right throughout the years, started to emerge. One of which was this point about safety. And the behavior of others, of course, has a massive impact upon you on the road network. The second point was about disruption, either through roadworks and users saying they wanted roadworks to be much better managed, to be much better informed about what was going on. Accidents. When there's accidents and people are trapped in queues of traffic, they need to be informed much better about what's happening, given choices, and potentially also welfare issues as well. And some of those themes started to emerge very strongly. As we moved into 2017, we started to do a motorway service user survey as well, funded by the motorway service providers themselves. Very powerful bit of research, which again, slightly confounded perhaps what the chattering classes think and say about things like motorway services. They have improved massively over the last few years, and our research shows that. Very high satisfaction rates, because actually what people want from a place to stop is basically a clean toilet and a cup of coffee. Beyond that, it's kind of, icing on the cake. And I think the quality of services has improved, but there is some way to go, and a very, very long way to go in terms of services on A roads, which are extremely patchy and pretty non-existent in some places. And as a country, we seem to tolerate some shockingly bad facilities on our roads. I'm not quite sure why. The French seem to do it a bit better. They've got a bit more space, but our A roads, some of those places are pretty grim. I'm sure, like you, whenever we set off on a journey, the kids about 5 minutes afterwards say, I want to go to the loo, just after you've left the motorway service station. And that gives you the challenge of finding a toilet on an A road. That's always quite fun. But the quality of those services really does matter. 2018, we started to do some work on disability. Very, very underrepresented, unheard voice. There's an awful lot of disabled people who are either driven or who drive themselves on the road network. Of course, their needs are exactly the same as everyone else's. They want a safe, reliable, smooth journey. The problem is, if there are any problems, their needs become much deeper, much more quickly. If you're less able to communicate, if you're less able to move, there are issues there which need, I think, special addressing, and it's very important that those needs continue to be emphasized. We kicked off in 2018 as well our Strategic Roads User Survey, which I'll say a bit more about at the moment, and started to do work on cyclists, pedestrians, and equestrians. When we started this role, it was quite clear we were there to represent all users of the Strategic Road network, not just the motorized ones. So we've had some fascinating debates with horse riders, cyclists, pedestrians who are usually trying to avoid or to cross the Strategic Road network. The jewel in our crown is this thing, the Strategic Road User Survey. It's big, it's about 8,000 users a year. It's representative of the current user population of Highways England's roads, so it's got the right number of truck drivers, motorbikes, leisure users, commuters, etc., etc. Covers the whole of England. You can cut it by age, time of day, particular roads. We can get it down to junctions. You've got verbatim comments, really useful, rich comments which add up to some of the statistics. And as you can see, the current results, it's running about 83% overall satisfaction with the Strategic Road Network, which is not bad. More variable results for roadworks and other areas. But this may well become, I can't say it will become, it may well become one of the targets which Highways England actually have to meet in, if there is, a next road investment period, trying to avoid the pre-election period guidelines there. So it's really good. There's a sense now that Highways England is going to be clearly incentivized and clearly measured around what its users, what its consumers are saying about it. Exactly the same as other methods of transport. I think that's a really powerful, important, big step forward. You can come and try the Data Hub today on our exhibition stand at J60. There's lots of my colleagues here who can answer all the difficult questions. Our chairman, Jeff Halliwell, is here as well. So we're fielding the A-team here today. It's really good. Come and talk to us, come and see us, come and have a play with the data. It's all on our website. There's a lot of powerful information there. And what's really good about the journey, I think, that Steve alluded to, that Highways England has been on, is that the contracting community is coming with it. We've had some really good conversations with contractors who are running the roadworks, who are running incident management or whatever, and that's very powerful that people are sensing that Highways England is changing. It's not just somebody who builds roads and maintains bridges. They're running a network of roads which underpins the economy of the country and the ability of people to enjoy their lives and get around, so it's very powerful. I think in the first road investment strategy, I'd pretty much mirror what Steve has said. I think Highways England made a good start. You've got customers built in there. Jim says it repeatedly from the top, repeatedly keeps talking about safety. You've got important new documents that have emerged, like the roadworks, the customer viewpoint, which we helped, which is being embedded everywhere, and I've seen it in places like the Oldbury Viaduct, where the rebuilding's going on. These things are being used on the ground very powerfully. And what's great is when contractors say to you, we really want feedback. We really like this feedback. We want to hear it. We want it faster, quicker, more. That's really powerful when that starts to happen. We've got roadworks audits going on, people getting sort of mystery shoppers driving through roadworks saying what they actually think the signs mean. I think there was a sense before that a lot of times in roadworks, the signs were there, they fulfilled the guidelines, tick, but they're incomprehensible. I got lost twice on the M25, M3 intersection, and I just could not understand what the signs were saying. And apparently they met all the requirements. Great, but you get lost. It doesn't meet, seeing it from the user point of view, the person coming up to that junction for the first time ever is a very, very different viewpoint. It's really good. We've got some challenges to kind of the variable messaging signs that are now allowed, so actually more useful to the consumers of the network. And I think the culture and the safety culture of the organisation is changing fast. Smart motorways, tricky issue. I think we all know that the hard shoulder on conventional motorways is not a safe place. I think it's if you stop on the hard shoulder, you've got on average about 29 minutes before something hits you. I think that's about right. It is a dangerous place. We know that. We know that smart motorways are a pragmatic way to expand road capacity and keep roads flowing smoothly. Of course they are. And in the absence of road pricing or any other message, you've got to do something about expanding capacity as the amount of traffic goes up and the population increases. The statistics show that smart motorways are safer. They probably are, because the traffic's moving more smoothly. It's probably moving at a slightly lower average speed. Our own research shows that when people arrive at a road, they just use it as they find it. How many lanes it's got? Great, just use it. But when you prod people and say, but what would happen if you broke down and there's no hard shoulder? People do go, oh yeah, what would happen? I think the key to this debate is that Highways England is never going to win the statistics battle. You're just not, because it's my statistics against yours. I think what Highways England have got to do is keep focusing on what they're doing, which is communicating, telling people what to do if you break down anywhere, but particularly on a hard shoulder. Really communicating and making sure that prosecutions follow up with Red X issues, people driving under Red X's. And thirdly, really pushing much harder to install automatic stop vehicle detection everywhere where you've got smart motorways. I think that will give a sense the motorway's managed. If you do break down, you'll be spotted pretty instantly. The signs will change. There's a sense that it's a managed network and you're a safer environment, in addition to more refuge areas as well. So I think that debate will continue, but I think Highways England's got to focus on those practical things. So to start to conclude, yes, safety. Users do trust that authorities build safe roads. It's not just about the statistics, as I say, and the reliability is key. We're starting to do a lot more work about signage and clarity of signage. That's not an uncommon sight, vegetation obscuring a sign. That causes safety risks. People don't know where they're going, they swerve, they get to the last minute before they can move. We're going to be starting to press Highways England soon to make sure that signs are repaired and are clearly visible around the network. Managing network incidents better, very important to free traffic, get welfare sorted out, and particularly focusing on welfare for disabled users. Roadworks are getting better, but getting it right day after day, I think, is a key trick, and we're going to keep helping Highways England do that. Come and see our stand on J60, and as I say, the message from us is safety, reliability, and smoothness. Thank you very much.